welcome back to, yes, that's right, WWTA game. And look, yeah, we're just chilling. I'm just, piddling around, checking the game out. But I just wanted to share a few thoughts. A few thoughts. So, volume is loud. Let's change that. Let's turn the volume down. So we can, just chit chat. Let's bring it down to about 15. All right, we'll bring it there. So just thinking about let's go to career mode. I'm still messing around with that. Just thinking about this big issue that, for some reason, Forza, got this award, best sport and race car or sport and racing game for the year. And looking at the competition, right, I will say that I don't understand how, sports and racing it became the same genre. Yeah, it's a sport, but it's racing, right? So it's kind of unfair. That's totally unfair. That's definitely unfair. But looking at the other racing games, so I'm not familiar with the indie game. I've never played it. I am familiar with the Crew Motorfest, and as a PC player, yeah, I'm not feeling that, right? It's, I don't know how they set the parameters for that. Just in my thoughts alone. For racing, I don't see why Gran Turismo wasn't on the list, right? Or was it just like a Xbox thing, right? But why wasn't Gran Turismo on the list? I don't play it, but I do watch videos because I don't have a PlayStation, and I'm just not going to join console wars. I'm a PC guy, so why wouldn't Gran Turismo there? And there's other games, right? Like maybe this was just for, well, no, because if it was consoles, why wasn't Gran Turismo there? I don't understand. There's so many racing games, right? And so new for the year, yeah, new. If you're talking about new games for this year, and that's what you want to, maybe that's what it was for, the new games of this year. Okay, so yeah, Motorfest for the Crew, new this year. Here, Forza, right? New this year. Okay, and the indie game, new, right? I believe it was new early this year. So if you're comparing those, right? Obviously, we can't argue that, right? Obviously, we're talking about racing, but then again, we're talking about sports. So again, even there's some confusion there. And I do get how everybody's a little upset about that. So let's just do some driving. So let's talk about Forza, though. Just like any game that comes out, it's full of bugs. Any game, every game that's come out this year, full of bugs. And my personal opinion, it's just kind of what it is. Now, I'm talking and driving, so this is not going to go too well. But I just wanted to drive around in Forza for a little bit, because there is some ups and downs with this game. But for the award situation, if they're talking about the new racing games for this year, this game is made for one thing and one thing only: actual track racing. So it should have been in a category like that, in which case it really wouldn't have had much competition other than the F1 game, right? As far as if it was new and racing games track. Now, the Crew is more of a it's more of an arcadey game. So arcade racer is the category I would think that would be in which case you couldn't place this with it, because this is more of a track simulation field game, right? So it's all really confusing. But let's just talk about Forza, though. It's ups and downs. So yes, they've been working with the game playing and running smooth, right? they got a long ways to go for that. Like, this could take a year, 2 years before they finally get this thing perfected, so that it can run with the likes of games such as Gran Turismo, which has been out for a while, so it's had good time to season itself and become a really well-running game, and visually with a great appearance. Because this game, let's look. Let's stop. Right, I'm playing a game. I can do whatever, right? So if we look, I think you can see I'm running at 80 some frames per second right now. The rain is like, come on. I've seen better rain on American Truck Simulator. This is no good, right? Let's be honest. Forza, let's be honest, right? This is not really good. Now, when we look out of the screen windshield, we see the scenery in the background, and it's a pretty good job on that, right? It's a lot going on back there, and it looks pretty good. Now, mind you, I don't have the maximum settings up because it takes a beating on the system. They need some optimization, and maybe with good optimization, the game will be excellent, right? So, oh, oh wow, and the AI, I tell you, this is an exciting game. It's really, when you have the level of racing turned up to where you're fighting to get into a place, this becomes a really great game. So I would look at it and say, when I turn the level up and play the AI, it's a really engaging game, because I'm not coming in first place. I'm telling you right now, I'm probably coming in 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th, because I'm going to be fighting and trying to focus on driving against some serious competition. It's no different than when you get when you get on multiplayer. A lot of the times you're going to come across just crazy drivers. They'll do crazy stuff, and there'll be a lot of accidents and wrecks and everything. That is what it is. But they have work to do with the actual graphical appearance and optimization. The game still needs optimization. It's going to need that for a while to perfect it, right? Some of the things that they have, like right now, this is a Logitech G923 or something like that, and I have it dialed in. Like, the wheel feels great. I don't know what the complaints is. Maybe people need to work on dialing in the settings to the game, but like, the wheel feels great. I've got the right amount of tension fighting against me. I've got my pedal set, so the right amount of force applied to the pedal for braking and acceleration. It just really draws me in. And then I'm operating at like a 38 by 1080 because I'm running two screens. Oh, pay attention. I'm running two screens. And so because I'm running two screens, of course I had to do that little strip fix where you try to get rid of the black mark, and that's a battle of its own working with that. But because that, I have this really wide view, and it's awesome. So for immersion, right? Yeah, of course Forza does a great job when you have the right things that you're working with. If you're not working with certain things, peripherals and different things, then it kind of isn't. I would assume if you're on a controller, there's no immersion here for you, so it's just a game, right? If you're on a controller, then games such as Horizon and Motorfest are more exciting to you, right? They're arcadey and you're with a controller in your hand. So I would feel like, I would logically think that, okay, well, the categories need to be justified and separated for awards, because yeah, maybe this game would be really well worth an award if you put it in the right category. So for everybody out there that's upset, you have a great reason to be upset, because I think it's not categorized properly, which will cause a lot of the issues why it got an award over other things. So yeah, definitely there's an issue with that. But I'm not going to throw the game out. That's kind of crazy, because they're going to be improving the game. No game comes out just great. Every game, everybody complains. Like, look at the every game that comes out, there's complaining about it. No, it's like here in the US, we don't really just be like, yo, we know we already know that, the game's going to come with bugs. That's just what it is. And then over a course of time, the development team will be working on those things and fixing it, right? And this is the whole beauty of where we are here in 2023 going into 2024. We have the ability to leave input for developers so they can perfect the games. It's just gets to the point where we give up on games, and this is not, don't take this as defending a game, because it's not what this is by any means. It's not a defense of a game. What it really is trying to understand where we are in the world of video games. If you go back years, you'll see that none of this was possible. We can take this all the way back to Nintendo days, where you had 8-bit Super Mario. You would have never imagined something like this. We can go back to pole position. Oh my God. If you guys look up games from like the 80s, 80s and early 90s, your mind would be blown. Like, this is crazy to see this stuff and be in a time and era where you have the ability to play games like this. And then you'll accept more that we're evolving. And that's what these game developers are doing. And it's just not going to be perfect. And we can't really ask a developer for perfection, because, they're going through the process. The only thing we can do is basically complain, whine, share our thoughts and input, and hope that they begin to bring things into alignment and perfect the games. So yeah, there's a big issue. Everybody's complaining about this game getting an award. It's a great game. It's more or less for those who take their driving and racing serious, and it's for those who like to build. Again, they told you clearly the Builder's Cup, but that's how Forza's motorsport games have always been. Just like Horizon. Horizon is a builder's game. You go into the game, you buy parts, you build your car, and you do whatever you want to do with it, right? Some people drag on the highway, and some people build drift cars, and they drift in the curvy roads. And Horizon lets you do what you want, but it's a builder's game. This is the same thing, but it's a builder's game for the more serious racer who wants to drive circuits. And that's what this game is for. It's two different games. This is not the caliber of a crew motorfest. It's not. No, that's Horizon's world, right? You go to Horizon and those games, that's where the competition is in those two games. They're from the same world. This game would be in the world of Gran Turismo, right? That's the competitor to this game. So if you don't have a PlayStation and you have an Xbox or a PC, this is what you're playing, right? So you can only hope that the games look at each other and perfect themselves, saying, wow, that game really did that well. I wonder if I could implement something like that into this game, because I think they did that well. That's it, perfection. And for real, and I'll say this about PlayStation, I know it would be difficult and it would put you in a bad spot, but to have a version of Gran Turismo on PC, or have us able to go through the PlayStation Network, attach it to PC so we can play Gran Turismo 7 and play multiplayer with the people playing on PlayStation, would be marvelous, even if it required that we paid the PlayStation subscription fee for access to that. But because you don't do it, you have a lack of customers that would be paying you that fee and playing your game, right? It is what it is. I'm still hoping that one day PlayStation will give in and make that happen. But as far as Forza goes, I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a great game. I think they've got a lot of work ahead of them. And there's really a joy to the game that only builders would find. Like, the beauty of this game is you'll get behind the wheel of a monstrous car that's uncontrollable, and you'll spend your time trying to figure out how to tame it. And then once you tame it, can you get good lap times in it? And if you're getting good lap times, can you win races in it? And then can you get online and play other people with this beastly car that nobody wants to drive, because it's like, oh, it's too much to try to make that car handle good. and then win races online. Like, that's it. I'm telling you right now, this car right here, I'm just not feeling it, but I'm going to keep working on it till I get it, in a pretty good position, right? I've got to finish these races in this series with it, and try to win the series, which I've got one more race, which is this one to finish. But that's all this is for. Let's not overcomplicate and make these things out to be more than what it was. It's a great game. The award it got, probably not, in my opinion, wasn't really logical. I think there should have been some separation, and I agree with everybody else on that. So it just didn't make sense at all, but nonetheless, it's still a great game. So anyways, I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. The game still is a pretty good game. It looks pretty good. It's definitely enjoyable. Sometimes it's easy to get a good car that drives really well and constantly win races because it's a great driving car. And then sometimes you want the challenge of getting behind the wheel of a beastly car that sucks trying to handle and then trying to perfect it. It's all in how you feel and all in how you play. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. I'll catch you all in another episode.